Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're back with F1 2018 career for the Belgian Grand Prix around Spa-Francorchamps, which is a driver's favorite for pretty much every single driver on the grid, and I like it as well. I think everyone likes this track. You can't not like this track. Just taking a look at our stats right before we get into the race. We have 42 points this season, which is quite a good amount in comparison to that. It's our first season. We're in 9th place at the moment. Looking at our R&D, we have some failed chassis upgrade. We're going to redevelop that and upgrade some more chassis because chassis is the one we're down on. Chassis is not our strong side. This is what we have for the next one. We have one for Singapore and one for Italy. They're both minor at the moment. You can see we're actually overtaking Force India and Haas. We're still catching up to Renault at the moment. They're still in front of us, but they're kind of our main rivals at the moment. Taking a look at the weather, it's going to be rain for the race and clear for the qualifying, which good for the qualifying, but bad for the race, of course. Talking about qualifying, let's just get straight into qualifying here for the Belgian Grand Prix.
It's qualifying time at Spa, one of the mightiest tracks on the Formula One calendar. Long straights, up and downhill, Eau Rouge as well. This track isn't for the faint-hearted.
So, coming into qualifying, we're gonna speed this session up. We don't want to use our tires too much. We're gonna go out late, but still early enough for us to maybe have another go at the end of the session. Coming on to a hard lap, we'll get a pretty good exit out of the last corner, which is of course important coming down the large start-finish straight. We actually get a purple sector 1 and a purple sector 2, but then I mess it up in sector 3, and it is a 146.1. And coming back to the garage, we actually don't have time for another lap, so that is that will be their 12th place for us and 7th place for Fernando Alonso. Of course, this is a very low downforce track, so not really our best thing. We're just gonna purchase some motor power unit upgrades before the race, because of course it won't be on for this race but another race. But let's just get into the Belgian Grand Prix.
Who doesn't love the Belgian Grand Prix? It's the race, of course, that gave maiden pole positions to the Jordan and Force India teams, with Rubens Barrichello and Giancarlo Fisichella respectively. Jordan, of course, would then go on to better that here in 1998 with their first ever victory. And you can guarantee that something special will always happen at Spa-Francorchamps. But what that something is today is anybody's guess. Spa-Francorchamps then, a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 right corners and 10 left corners, giving us a grand total of 19. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in these conditions, we won't be seeing anything like that today. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Kimi Räikkönen. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be, it's about effective damage limitation.
Coming on to what might be one of the championship deciding races, as we're getting quite far into the championship, just over halfway there. We're gonna go for a no-stopper because it's raining, so we can't do that. Coming on to the formation lap, of course, as always, gonna manage the ERS and the fuel. Turn the ERS modes down to low, and just before the AI takes over, we're gonna turn it up to high again, so we can have the ERS of the line as we go to 5 red lights for 11 laps around Spa in the wet weather. We get off to an okay good start. Ocon right beside us. There's a lot of wheel spin right there. We go for the inside, down the inside of Alonso, down into T1 La Source. Gotta make sure we don't have too much contact as we touch wheels with Fernando Alonso. We get off to a better exit with the buttload of wheel spin, so he actually gets off to a better exit. We have Ocon right behind us who wants to go side by side down through Eau Rouge. He gets us there as we get a buttload of understeer. And we understeer off the track. Just managed to save it before going into the barrier, but at the end of the day, we make an okay start. We gain 1 position. But Grosjean, they're squeezing us out into the grass. What are you doing? Give us some space, yo. At the end of the day, we managed to outbrake him around the outside, which was quite a clean overtake and very nice defensive line right there, pulling off a very jerky and dicky move. I actually wasn't supposed to do this, but I would have rammed in straight into the back of him if I didn't do that. But we managed to get him at the end of the day. Coming down on lap 2, Grosjean here, he wants to go side by side with us through Eau Rouge. We squeeze him out there, and he hits the barrier, he recharges. Oh, and the Force India has gone straight into the back of him, and there's a massive crash with with around 4 or 5 cars. What is this? On lap 2 there, here we have the looks from how it looks for the Williams. He just smashes into Nico Hulkenberg. This is an insanely big crash with 4 or 5 cars, and it was all because we squeezed him off the track. Here we have it from the Toro Rosso of Pierre Gasly, who there was just a car in the middle of the track. This is a ginormous crash out of the race. Here he goes. That was an enormous crash looking from Grosjean. We squeezed him out there, and as he rejoins the track, the Force India just comes across him and smashes into the back of him. That was a buttload of millions dollars of damage right there done. Charles Leclerc managing to avoid it, and now later the same lap we get the messages: Pierre Gasly out of the race, Sergei Sirotkin out of the race, Carlos Sainz out of the race, 3 guys out of the race. Right by there, as we get a caution, and Hamilton there pulling over to the side on the same lap. So many retirements just after 2 laps. As we also have just after 2 corners again, we have, I think it is Bottas there, who also pulls over to the side. This is a chaos race for Mercedes. They have double retirement at just 3 corners. Lewis Hamilton is out of the race. Daniel Ricciardo is out of the race as well. This is an insane race already. So many retirements going through there. As we actually get some front wing damage from Kimi Räikkönen, trying to go get us through Blanchimont. We managed to outbrake him through the bus stop chicane. Coming on lap 4, we have Kimi Räikkönen going around the outside as we almost smash into the back of him, but we managed to make a switchback on him. Oh, we were almost spinning out, but managed to save it on the curb. It was kind of weird safe, but well, it worked, so I guess it was fine. But Räikkönen there's just going straight past us as we hear. We have Fernando Alonso, a teammate, out of the race. Another retirement, and it was a mechanical failure. Here we can see it from Ocon there. Right behind him is Alonso. He just pulls over to the side because of a mechanical failure. Our teammate out of the race from 10th place. He was running a great race up to that point. Here we have some clips of me locking up. Just shows these conditions were very tricky to drive in because it was drying, but it wasn't completely wet. Here we have it's Leclerc wanting to go side by side with us. He gets understeer, and he does the same. He takes out himself and another car. I didn't see who that was. I think it was the other Williams. So now it's a double retirement for Williams as well. It was Lance Stroll there, who's out of the race. There's so many retirements this race. You can see he got understeer. I didn't push him too much out there as well as I did with Grosjean, but he got understeer. And now we're at 9 DNF, so that means one guy won't get points. That's kind of lonely, right? But here shows how tricky these conditions actually was. We got a virtual safety car for some reason, and I don't know why, because there was no cars that retired or anything. It was just maybe all the debris from all the crashes there had been. They just needed to clean up, but it was only half a lap. And we basically just, for the rest of the race, it's actually dry then, but we just cruise around alone to get a 6th place. Here the crazy Belgian Grand Prix, absolutely insane.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
A reliable car, that was the most important factor here. This was a real battle of attrition. You could tell those at the front were trying to find a balance between running their outright pace and taking care of the car to reach the end.
So there you have it, the craziest race of the season, I would say personally. You can see Sebastian Vettel takes a great lead of 32 points over Lewis Hamilton in this championship. We go up to 9th place over our teammate Fernando Alonso. which means that we are already winning our rivalry, but we would be winning it even more at the moment. We're 5th in the Constructors Championship, which is pretty good. Taking a look at our reputation, of course, after the Silverstone crash. Check that out if you haven't watched it. We're slowly building up our reputation again. Of course, we lost a shit ton amount of reputation during that race. We had a double crash in practice and the race, which was quite insane. Take a look at the development tree again, just if you wanted to take a look at that. Of course, I uploaded the Hungary race earlier today, only a 2-minute video, because basically I lost the footage and I couldn't recover it. So it's just me explaining very short what happened. Go check that out if you haven't watched it. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.